Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Oh my goodness, how is everyone doing tonight? I hope you all are doing well. I am once again simulcasting on Rumble and UTizzle, soon to be I think UTizzle exclusive, or I might try that BitChute stuff out. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, folks, we got a big meeting coming up face to face. Trump should be boarding Air Force One sometime tomorrow. This is a seminal meeting, a power play. Is there a deal already or no deal? I believe there's been a deal. Along the major powers that have been doing this. Fifth dimensional warfare, okay? Fifth generation warfare. Putin, Xi, and the great Donald Trump. In a police action, a worldwide RICO action, which is what I've said for many years, and many of you concurred. So anyway, what do I do while people are coming in? I play videos, give people time to get a nice cold bruja or a hot cup of coffee or an adult beverage, whatever is your want. And then what will we do? We'll be like butter and get on a roll. Ha ha.
Dust on my Bible, flags on the line. You laughed at our warnings, called truth a crime. You sold us your secrets, wrapped up like hope. Signed all our futures with a poison note. You sat in your mansions, we prayed in the rain. You cast every favor on a ledger of pain. You thought you were covered, names on a list, private plain pages you swore don't exist. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. You thought she was certain, thought he was too. Shook hands in the back room, said they'll never break through. You mocked every farmer, every steel-toed boo. Called them crazy and bitter while you buried the proof. Now screens start flashing, whole names, young kids, whole world scrolling through the things y'all did. Digital soldiers from the cornfields to Rome say leave our children alone or we're taking you home. Let's go! Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. From the back roads to the big tall towers, Patriots worldwide, this the final hour. You can beg, you can bargain, you can scream, you can hide, but the book's been written and your name's inside. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. Nothing's gonna stop what's already signed. Game over.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm they're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you once again for joining me tonight. I hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. Every one of you. Who's come to see me tonight? Colette's here. Nice to see you, Colette. Wayne's here. Kim's here. Melinda's here. Wanda. Darla. Rebecca. Todd. Nice to see you, Elva. All right. Cole's here. Nice to see you. All right, Kim's here. All my lurkers, hello, along with Randy. And the folks on Rumble. For now. I don't even know what's going on over there. They ought to do something about that. Get these streaming platforms and give them a hard time legally. Robert, how are you doing? As to why I can't see the chats. I can on some little kids site like Kick. I can see their chats, but not Rumble. I ought to get a lawsuit, but it's not worth fooling with. You can't interact with the audience. Plus they don't support the channel. So we'll figure something else out. Save a little bit of time. All right, let's see. Robert's here. Mountain, nice to see you. Michelle, nice to see you. Sweet Daydreams, nice to see you. Cynthia. All right, we got everybody rolling in. I got a lot of Trump clips to play. We got got to be careful with our words about this new illness that has popped up. Frank over on the NPC show was putting up stuff. I got screenshots of it the other night, but I didn't put it up yet. But he said himself, I'm talking about stuff that used to get me in trouble. I might get in trouble, so make sure you follow me on the other stuff. I know he's on Rumble. So in other words, he knows more about this stuff than I do because he's been doing it a long time. And he put up some videos that you all might want to check out. One of them is, did you all hear about that? There's Frank. 323 vials missing. Let me know in chats. Do you know where they came up missing? Take a wild guess. How do you lose 323 vials of hantavirus? They had a vaccine for it I think they patented in, 2013? What the hell's going on? Oh, it was a cruise ship. That's right. Anybody got any? Robert said, woo, but no, that's not the right answer, but it's a good guess. Tammy, yes, like and subscribe. My last video, I never even mentioned, give me a thumbs up. Maybe I did early in the video because Wayne always says, give thumbs up. So now Tammy does it too. Helps the video get around, right? No more guesses? It's a country that Trump has not even deigned to have discussions with. Their leaders have been very nasty toward Trump, towards conservatism in general, and are part of the New World Order. Well, formerly known as New World Order, Old World Order. We're entering the New World Order now. So, Australia, that's where they came up missing. So anyway, it's only a 53-second clip. But he's like he said, he's taking a chance even discussing it. If you watch my new viewers, if you watch my old videos, and I have got gobs of them, and on Utizzle and Rumble, and some on Rumble for my channel that got taken down years ago. I talk in code, because I don't know what'll get me in trouble or not. Here's another one he put up. New infections, not cruise ship linked. Okay, folks? So things are not always as they're reported. We know that. Things are not always as they seem. But we'll keep our eye on that. And already the memes are coming out. Here's the new test for it right here. You can go in and get tested right now. They put this thing up to your head and see whether or not you're an idiot. Okay, if you fall for it again. Ha 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 ha. Mr. Kibler, how are you? Oh, my word. Yeah, take the whole state. Take the whole state. I could set up a clinic. I could do it all over the phone with an accent and get a big check and just have nothing going on. But anyway, there's your meme for the Meta or whatever site you're on. So Trump is going to be going to China. Is something going to happen? Everybody's wondering. Is something going to happen before Trump goes to China, while he's sitting down with Xi, or when he gets back? He said today, I've got clips I'll play from his press conference in the Oval Office, where he said, I got generals waiting on me. I got to cut this short. We've got to figure out what we're going to do about a beautiful country called Iran. And so they cut the briefing short, and nobody knows. Now, we'll see. We'll see. Trump said, I have a plan, and it's a good plan. And the plan says Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon with a period on the end of it. That's the plan, right, Cynthia? Oh, really? Yeah. Misspell that word VIRU. Oh, you did. You put a space there. That's good. That's good, Cynthia. You're down with the program. Speaking of illnesses, Trump was joking around, not really joking around, in the Oval Office. Somebody put this up. Here's the prescription for Trump derangement syndrome. And when I go on some of these places to comment, I say, you got TDS, you're ate up with it. They say, no, you do. It's Trump devotion syndrome. They try to twist it around, to make it seem like we suffer from TDS. Okay, typical mirroring. But we all know what it is. People that act irrational, violent, vile, miserable. They're ate up with Trump derangement syndrome. They're mad at themselves. They're mad at the world. Treatment, trusting in Trump. Listen to national anthem. Limit fake news. And don't be a panicking. But anyway, let me play this little clip from Trump.
Funny. The Democrats, well, they suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, to be honest. They don't even know what they're looking at. They can't even see straight. But I have a new way out. I'm going to propose something the opposite of what I want, and we will have massive amounts of legislation. No, just all I have to do is say, we will not build the wall, and they'll demand it as an diabolically clever. No, I'm going to do it, Katie. We'll put it in. I'm going to go the opposite. Whatever is bad, I'm going to go for it, and they'll approve what's good, finally. No, they've got serious Trump derangement syndrome, which actually is a disease. I'm hearing it is actually a disease.
Well, I got proof. Well, we see proof every day, but I think this would be apropos. And, you know, their brains don't work. But if you ever read doctors' reports, they say, patient presented with, and they'll say how they looked, their eyes, their fingernails. Patients presented with a swollen foot. And, you know, here's a patient that's presenting. Imagine writing a report on this just from a visual. Patient presents as, I don't know, a swamp hag. But this person decided to threaten Trump and his entire family. And you think she's going to get a knock on the door? Open up. I think so.
Children of the Rose, I have ordered you to speak the truth. It is time for the whistleblowers to start whistling and screaming the truth. Mr. Trump, I will assassinate you. We're at peace. Get ready, Mr. Trump. Every day you play this game, I will eliminate one of your family members. That will be a proven fact. Last warning, Trump. Barron will be executed. For every day you play the scam, I will eliminate one of your family. And that is the fucking truth.
Yeah, somebody is going to go to the jailhouse and go before a judge. And, you know, this person, you know, she's obviously got problems. Obviously. But that is the importance of taking Comey to task. Okay? Because there are people on the edge, whether Trump was around or not. People on the edge. And she is talking about whistleblowers. There's whistleblowers that are coming out about, let's see, it's governor. And here we go. You want whistleblowers? Sweetheart, you bathing beauty or whatever that was I just saw. Dozens of election workers who helped facilitate the 2020 presidential election in Pennsylvania have reportedly come forward claiming they were personally ordered by then Governor Tom Wolf and Secretary of State Kathy Boockvar to trash over 100,000 ballots cast for President Trump and count over 100,000 fraudulent, and I'm doing that for a reason, beaten ballots, beaten Biden, allegedly casting the names of dead voters and illegal aliens. So we're getting there. We're going to see high on the totem pole people getting handcuffs put on them. Is it going to be weeks? Is it going to be a month? Is it going to be right during 4th of July? I don't know. Is it going to be when Trump's meeting with Xi? I don't know. Trump's going to be AF1, right? When the stuff goes down, my fellow Americans, remember that? Is it Air Force One or alternate facility? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Now, what's your all's opinion? Is it just me? Or is that a rubber face? Is that a rubber face? Or has he been on a long drunk? I don't know. But here's John Brennan. Trump's retribution campaign gains momentum. MS Now. Oh, look who they had as a follow-up guest. Coming up, James Comey. MS Now. How many of them are going to end up in handcuffs?
Trump says these people are dirty. Todd Blanche says we're lucky to have Trump involved in this. Kash Patel says I have a bat phone into the Oval Office. He has succeeded largely in turning DOJ and the FBI into political arms of his political operation. What still exists in the system to slow that down?
Well, I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice. So we have to rely on these individuals to stand up to their professional responsibilities, and also to the courts, to the judges, to those judges who in fact took an oath of allegiance to the law, not to a political party, not to a person. And, I'd like to think that there are still some members of Congress. Certainly, I'm looking for the Republicans who at one point had spoken out against Donald Trump and had spoken in support of the law, but they seem to have just totally caved. And I think, as has been said, what has happened to our institutions is really going to have longstanding damage to these institutions, to our system of justice.
So what he's saying is there's people entrenched in the bureaucracy, which we know that. But he's coming right out and saying it. Subversives. They want to subvert the executive, and they're going to resist, right? But then he's bemoaning Congress. Hi, Candace, cleanup, how you doing? Nice to see you. Kathy, nice to see you. Anybody sneak in? If you did and I didn't catch you, I apologize. I try to keep an eye on things. But anyway, yeah. So I'm sure his communications are being monitored, right? Right? We'll catch them all. We're going to catch them all. This Henta and then virus, right? Clandestine's been on these BIO labs for years. And I got a couple of things from him. He's kind of taking a little bit of a victory lap with things that are coming out. Eventually, the world will be shown that the wars in both Ukraine and Iran. I used to get in trouble if I said Ukraine. My video would get looked at hard or get in trouble. Wars in both Ukraine and Iran lead back to Obama. Obama offshored U.S., and I got to say it this way, BIO, okay? Weapon development in 2014, mainly to Ukraine. He offshored it. Obama is also responsible for Iran's nuclear program. Everything leads back to Obama. He gave weapons of mass destruction to CIA deep state proxies. Obama is a terrorist. Is that how you say it? That stole U.S. secrets and technology and put it in the hands of illegitimate deep state regimes. This is what it all comes down to. Everything Trump is doing revolves around cleaning up Obama's mess and foiling their plans to take over the world. Wow. Obama is essentially a Bond villain and put weapons of mass destruction in the hands of people who sought to hold the world hostage. And he included this photo. What's he doing here? Oh, he's looking at some vials. Yeah, that's very presidential. Where's he at? Some ghoul, so-called physician somewhere in Brussels or in the Black Forest. Oh, who knows? Who knows? So not only that, but he brings this up again. This was on the 17th letter. This was published, I believe, by Tulsi Gabbard also. U.S. coordination of biological laboratories and research institutes in Ukraine. There, get your screenshot. You can expand it. You'll see the names and the faces. This is a picture Clandestine put up with this. A reminder. In 2022, Russian military formally accused Obama, Biden, Hillary, Soros, and more of developing biological weapons at U.S.-funded BIO labs in Ukraine. As a matter of fact, that's, I believe, when I started broadcasting one of my early videos, I had a Russian general who was speaking to the UN, saying exactly this. I played the video of him, a translated video of him, where he flat out said just what's being said here. To the UN, nobody batted an eye. News didn't report a bit of it. If you think Trump and Putin have not discussed this topic, you are mistaken. Putin wants justice for Obama also. Well, I'm going to take it one step further. So does Xi. Okay? Because they funded Antony Fauci did the funding over there in Wuhan, right? Miss Menders, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome aboard. Make sure you all give me thumbs up. Trump posted this. Speaking of TDS, this is going to really drive him nuts. Trump reposted this from Women for Trump. Things are moving along nicely for America's 250th birthday party in July. They're showing it. Yeah, it's AI. But they're putting up the Trump next to him. They're on Mount Rushmore, baby. So I thought that was cute. Yeah. Let them all freak out, especially if they got to get passports. They got Trump's picture on them. They got to drive over bridges named after Trump. They got to go to the airport in Florida. Hey, welcome to Trump International. Oh, they're all going to go, hey, good. Cry more, seethe more. So, anyway. This is the last one from Clandestine, but stuff's going to start coming out. It's coming out now, but it's not being reported. But we talk about it here as long as if I'm gone, I'll be, I guess, on Rumble there till I get some other site started up. Flashback to 2022 when the MSM machine attacked me for reporting on the U.S. funded BO Labs in Ukraine. MSNBC's Alex Wagner featured my viral thread on the biolabs, and I was smeared as a Russian asset. Can you believe that? Turns out I was right, and the media tried to cover it up. They failed. And I have that clip right here. This is the narrative to destroy someone who is reporting facts they know about. And, of course, he got taken down on Twitter. He got taken down on, he ended up finding refuge on Truth Social. Now he's back on Twitter and stuff like that. They were censoring us, people like this right here.
So in mid-February, this random post appears on Gab, which is like a far-right sort of website, right? And this post comes up 10 days before the invasion, and it says, exclusive U.S. biolabs in Ukraine, and they are financed at the expense of the U.S. Department of Defense, right? Like, kind of weirdly worded, maybe not from a native English speaker. Right. Then on the day of the invasion, suddenly it gets pickup. It's skyrocketing around far-right websites, social networks. Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs tweets that Russia has found evidence that Ukraine is covering up a military biological program financed by the U.S. Defense Department. And eventually, Tucker Carlson, the most watched cable news host in America, is talking about a conspiracy theory that, by all accounts, seems to have originated as a piece of Russian disinformation.
What exactly are they doing in these secret Ukrainian biolabs?
Does this kind of origin story sound familiar to you?
The pathology of it, yes, is consistent with prior disinformation campaigns that we've seen from Russia. So you have your social media accounts, you identify the issue that you want, then you start amplifying. And then it jumps over into the mainstream. It jumps over from Facebook into the media space. And from there, it gets to that final step of hitting the real world. And by the way, that's the exact same playbook that resulted in January 6th.
Disinformation campaign. I wonder if he could get a lawsuit against that character and that reporter. My career is doing real good because I am so smart and I pick the right outfits and I do my research. Namely, I get my talking points at 4 a.m. from a foreign source and I parrot whatever they say. That means I'm special. I'm good. I am a career woman. When they have, some of them have no damned idea what they're doing. Censoring people, aiding and abetting, most of them in an ignorant way, this spread of misinformation and spread of, I posit to you, disease of the mind and body. In the plural, diseases, okay? But people are finding out that these people are charlatans, all right? Smoke and mirrors. But they've infested everything so deeply. Look at this fool right here. Supplanting ChatGPT for what little bit of a brain he has in that deformed head. ChatGPT told the FSU Pure to target children to draw more attention from media. Florida lawsuit. Good. Sue their eyeballs out of their heads. We're seeing a lot of lawsuits pop up. But yeah, there are so many idiots out there. All it takes is one to be successful at harming others. And they do it. Citizen Free Press. Exposure. Is the media going to show you this? What's been going on in the Northeast for decades? Not one Many of them, not one Republican in 9 states saving our democracy. But when we ban racist practices in districting, it's literally fascism. Good for the goose, good for the gander. Okay? And that's what's happening there now. But anyway, Trump posted this also. They've been putting up polls. I got them in my studio too. Just a bunch of phony garbage. That Trump is underwater, 62% disagree with him. And blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. The national mood and the appearance of the Democrats, they're just not clicking. They're repugnant. They repel normal people. They find them obnoxious. Trump put this up. Things Democrats have in 2026. No solutions, no policy, no integrity, no leadership, no talent, no hope, no joy, no love for our country. Tell me what's not the truth. It's all true. Spiro Agnew called them nattering nabobs of negativity. I call them malcontents. And I was glad to see Spencer Pratt. I'm going to play that one commercial of his where he calls out Karen Basura for the communist she is. And he uses over and over a word I have been using for years, and I told you all. Malcontents, miscreants, and misfits, the 3 M's. He uses the word malcontents over and over and over again. We're on the same page. That's what happens when people are on the same page. Speaking of getting on the same page, this report, red states follow Trump's model, seek to rid Islamic influence in local lawmaking. Well, that's great. I want it nationwide. Clean out Congress. Illegal aliens from 27 Islamic nations entered the U.S. under Biden, broadening concerns of influence across some of America's largest cities and states. Well, we need to get rid of it in Congress, too. How the hell do they end up being in Congress? How do we end up with some creep like Ro Khanna telling me what to do? Shouldn't even be in this country. And if he is, he should be mopping the floor around a Slurpee machine at the 7-Eleven, not in Congress. And that's too much of that going on, too. Congressman Randy Fine, Armenians should not serve in Congress. Neither should Somalis or Guatemalans or, wait for it, Israelis. If you're a citizen of a foreign country, you shouldn't serve in ours. We need to pass my bill to stop the invasion of dual citizens in Congress now. I agree with that 10,000%. And not only that, but I don't want them making my laws in my state or my town or my county or my parish or anywhere. They should be kissing the ground, grateful they're here, not coming here to be like J-Pal or Ilhan Omar, come here to tell us what we need to do in life. And I heard, many of you heard it too, that Ilhan is looking over her shoulder. Another question for the chats. New York Post is reporting this. First question for the chats. Have you heard it anywhere else? What I'm getting ready to tell you? Exclusive. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard probes U.S. funding to more than 120 biolabs abroad. She's investigating more than 120 labs that were funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars for decades. Have you seen this on CNN? Have you seen it on NBC Now? NBC, ABC, CBS? Oh, a peep? A damn peep? How you doing, Mac? That's criminal. The power to ignore should be stripped away from them. How come you're not informing the people what government officials are doing in reference to our tax dollars and our very lives, our health, the health of our nation? What kind of deals are going on with multi-million-dollar grants? $40 of them out of the 120. Nobody's heard any other news source but New York Post and Old Mountain Man. 40 sites are being checked out in a one particular geolocation. Do you know where that is? If I'm not mistaken, 40 out of 120 means a third. Am I right or wrong? I mean, I'm not good at math. I'm dumb. I'm a dumb dummy. I told you all. Where? What's that geolocation? Have you all heard? Greg got it. How you doing, Greg? You're Crizzle. You, Crystal. The heat is on. The heat is on. As far as I know, knock on wood, the ceasefire is still holding up. And they're wrapping up the celebrations over there in Ruski land. But everybody was celebrating Viktor Orban getting kicked out. The narrative machine told a bunch of simpletons in America to comment relentlessly that Viktor Orban was a dictator. They didn't even know who he was, wouldn't recognize a picture of him. But they went on an operation to call him a dictator. And everybody was celebrating when he lost the election. Well, the new regime in Hungary, now that they got Viktor Orban out, they got tricked. Hungary will not send weapons and soldiers to Ukraine and will not participate in the provision of a $90 billion EU loan, or billion pound, or whatever the hell he is, said Anita Orban, the candidate for the post of Hungarian foreign prime minister, nominated by the new prime minister. What's her name? Anita Orban. Oh, Orban, yeah. Somebody got fooled. Somebody got fooled. Hey, Dance Camino, I can't play it because it's copyright. It's a drum riff by Phil Collins. Dance Camino posted this today. What do you all think the message is? Why would, without comment, Dance Camino post a drum riff by Phil Collins? Y'all got any ideas? Put it in the chats if you have an idea what's going on with that. While you're cogitating on that, Trump's going to meet with Xi. We got criminal investigations going on into price fixing in the beef industry, right? We've got the fate of Iran is going to be decided. One of the clips I'm going to play, Trump says, great people, but their leadership, maybe they shouldn't be there. Maybe they shouldn't be there. And is there going to be a decision made? A deal made? If it's all right with you, it's all right with me, kind of deal, as to what we're going to do with getting rid of those mad dogs of the Middle East, those rabid dogs. Ha ha ha. Todd said, I don't care anymore. No, I don't care anymore. But Miss Minder, Sue, and group, I think got it right. Boom. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Hold on. There you go, Kathy. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. I think that's what it means. Because we certainly do care, don't we? Ha ha ha. Kim got it. Miss Mindersoo got it. Todd concurred. Kathy loves the song. I think that's what we're looking at there. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. And I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? Oh, really? Your husband's favorite song, right? Yeah, you listen to those words. I don't know how you keep this silence up. No, you don't fool me. Here's another article. U.S. removes all enriched uranium from Venezuela reactor, ships materials to South Carolina in major security operation. Fox News. Anybody else report that? Did MS Now report it? All these independent women, I can bring home the bacon, I can fry it up in a pan. Don't know their ass from third base. Do you think they'll ever report on this? You know how big of a deal this is? Who's operating bases in Venezuela? Who was operating bases in Venezuela? Put it in the chats. They ain't operating now. And Trump made comments. I think I have a clip on that. Making Venezuela a 51st state. That's all right, but they got to get rid of their commies, okay? And we got to get rid of our commies. An American CCOT is needed for commies. Aha! Sandman! Robert, you're both right. Iran had a Republican Guard or Revolutionary Guards had a base there. They planned operations and conducted operations on U.S. soil emanating from Venezuela. And Cuba has infestated many Latin American countries, like I've said before, with an intelligence service that rivals Mossad, the KGB, and the CIA. They're very good. Roland! You get a donut instead of a cinnamon roll. That's okay. That's okay. Jack Posobiec put this up. He said it'd be a shame if this went viral. I said, oh, okay, let me help out.
Who is a worse senator? John the Stiff Cornyn of Texas or Mitt the Loser Romney of Massachusetts? They are both weak, ineffective, and very bad for the Republican Party. and our nation. With even modestly skilled opposition, they'll lose their next election. Who could ever forget Mitt proudly marching with full mask down a once proud Washington, D.C. street with BLM and rioters? Likewise, there is Cornyn, always quick to surrender to the Democrats, giving them anything they want.
John Cornyn of Texas, marching with BLM. Ain't that something? And I happened to spot this little blurb here from the founder of Citizen Kane News, which I post some of their stuff a lot, about Cornyn. Well, I believe it is. Let me see. Let me find it. Here we go. Whoops, right here. Here we go. Citizens Free Press founder Kane issues a warning for Texas voters on open primary. Texas has an open primary. If someone did not vote in the first primary, there's a danger that Dems can sort of sneak in and try to vote. Vote for Cornyn. Charlatans. Charlatans all. And it's being exposed as best we can expose it, because by necessity, we are the news now, because we know who doesn't report it.
They need to get it right, because Texas has sort of a weird thing. They have an open primary. So if you haven't, if someone didn't vote in the earlier part of or in the first primary, not the runoff, they're actually able to come in and vote for either party. So there's a danger that Democrats could sort of sneak in Texas and try to vote, and affect that race and vote for Cornyn and prevent us from getting Paxton. Although I'll say last thing, there's a chance, if Democrats actually believe, I don't believe it myself. I think that if Cornyn's the nominee, I think it depresses turnout on the Republican side.
Yeah,
so I
agree.
That electing Paxton is dangerous.
Yeah. We shall see how it all shakes out. I put a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee. And I appreciate everybody who went by there. And Sparky, a.k.a. Shannon, thank you so much for going by Buy Me a Coffee, along with Roland, Colette, Brush, Wayne, and as always, Mike and Beth. And I meant to do my booms. I gave extra booms for Miss Menderson. She puts when she goes by Buy Me a Coffee, kapow! It's a Moab. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. So anyway, folks, I put a link in the chats at the 53-minute mark for anybody that wants to help out with Buy Me a Coffee. How you doing, Sandman? Nice to see you. Who else slipped in here? Yeah, I like that song too, Miss Menderson. I like it too. I always get copyrights when but my singing is so delightful and so much like a music studio. I could get one for just even giving my own rendition, just like when I sing I Wish I Wasn't Dixie. But anyway, new. Trump calls out 2 Supreme Court justices. I read that long tweet, truth, by Donald Trump, and I said, holy cow. President Donald Trump blasted 2 of his own Supreme Court appointees in a lengthy social media post, accusing them of siding against the country in a major tariffs case. But the top headline tells the tale that stopped me in my tracks last night. Hints at incoming ruling on birthright citizenship. that is going to not leave a lot of options for Trump other than declaring the Insurrection Act and sidelining the Supreme Court. These asinine decisions. Why they make them, I don't know. Why we have foreign interests in front of our Supreme Court telling the executive branch that they can't defend the nation economically, I have no idea. Why is that allowed? A lot of talk about Biden in 2017 interview. I heard parts of the tape that were leaked where he was lost, confused about when his son passed away, what he did with papers. And then he's sworn in 2021, brain fried. We're going to get those tapes, and they're going to be played. Timing is everything. Optics are important because we may just have to declare that term and the results of that term null and void. We had installed Marxists and communists running our nation. Certainly not exercising the will of the people. And, we got to turn this ship around. Let me play some Trump clips. Let's see what this one is. Let's start off with this one. I've got them in random order. Let's see what issue he's talking about. I'll see if I can do it without my headphones. If not, I'll put them in.
Ill and they take the drug, doesn't work, we're not going to count it anyway. We'll have another record, a little smaller one that not a lot of people look at, but we're not going to count it on your record. So Right to Try has been one of the great successes. Again, nobody talks about it. We've saved thousands of lives on us, but you know what is maybe even more important? We've learned very quickly that some drugs work and some drugs don't. In other words, some drugs take a person who's terminally ill, and there are numerous cases, and without waiting 7 years, 10 years, by the way, we think we've cut it in half, but you do need a period of time. Without waiting many, many years, we know the drug works because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites, gone. The kids are crying, and started them on this drug, and the person became better. It works, and some don't work. But you learn really fast. It's called the ultimate test, I think, right? They test all these things. They use animals all over the place. They use everything to test. Person's going to die. So they didn't want it because they didn't want to be sued for, the drug companies didn't want to be sued if it didn't work. The country didn't want to be sued. So I got everybody into a room, and I said, we're going to do this, but if anybody uses it, they have to sign a document. They sign a very strong document that they're not going to sue the doctor, they're not going to sue the country, they're not going to sue the manufacturer, the pharmaceutical company, they're not going to sue anybody, but we're going to give it a shot. It has been, Right to Try has been so successful. It's been amazing. Nobody talks about it, but everyone knows how successful.
Mr. President, there was a young man that we visited on, actually in Los Angeles, who's taking advantage of this program. Katie actually spoke to him by phone. It's from Alabama. That he reached out to you directly, and this is the same program that benefited him. And just to put numbers on the Council of Economic Advisors, it's between 500 and whatever it was, 30 million that you said, and $700 billion in savings. So we estimated $600 billion in total savings, and the impact on the American people, Mr. President, is 1 in 3 Americans leave a drugstore without their medication because they can't afford it. Even though they got a doctor's prescription, they know they can make a difference in their lives. That will no longer happen with the most favored nation drug pricing. And we're giving drugs like which, as you call it, the fat shot, the weight loss drugs to all beneficiaries of Medicare. Every senior in America can get them for $50 starting on July 1st. These are just inconceivably good prices, and they're so good, in fact, that we actually save the taxpayer money by reducing the downstream.
Yeah, I tell you, it's criminal how the media doesn't report on this stuff. The Right to Try, how many lives were saved? How much money's being saved because we're not subsidizing foreign countries' socialist healthcare systems. We foot the bill and don't even know it. Now we know. If anybody's got any brains in their damn head, yeah, that's right, Cynthia. I heard about that. The Alabama teen Trump's helping out. And what is it with these oddball cancers? Where is this stuff sprouting up out of the ground from? Maybe we'll find that out too. And I haven't heard any more about the vaccine Putin was talking about for cancer. Maybe that'll come to the fore. How's that coming along with their treatments and trials? Not a peep from the mainstream media. These people don't have your good in mind. Let's see about what this clip says.
I am being waited on by a large group of generals, and that's also important, you know, having to do with the absolutely lovely country of Iran. That's the way they pronounce it.
Well, we will get started then.
Okay.
Mr. President, thank you for your work. We are here, guys. This is another example of promises made, promises kept.
Yeah, this is when he cut the meeting off. He said he has a large group of generals waiting for him to decide what to do with Iran. And, you know, the media has been taken. If you've seen him when he was leaning back listening to that young lady, he closed his eyes and while he was listening to her for just a second. And they take a freeze shot of people standing around him with his eyes closed, and they try to say he's falling asleep at press briefing. These people are trash. Trash. They won't even listen to his voice. Midas Trash Network won't even play what he's trying to communicate to the American people as Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States. That kind of trash is being run, supported, financed, if it's true, by attorneys. They all need to have their licenses stripped if that's the case. And never be placed in positions of public trust ever again. So, anyway, let's see what this one is about. That was toward the end. I'll start playing from the top. Here we go. So he might have had his eyes closed a third of a second before this shot. That's the kind of picture they'll put up of Trump. When he's speaking, he closes his eyes for a second, he's gathering his thoughts, he's flowing in a conversation. They'll take freeze frames and go, look at Trump.
What?
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place?
You know, it's unbelievably weak, I would say. I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand these are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree?
Bad prognostic.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a 1% chance of living. Yeah.
Mr. President,
Daniel, go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he was telling the Iranian generals and mullahs that you got a 1% chance of living, not the ceasefire. Here we go again. Let's see what this is. Now, if there was a picture like that where he wasn't speaking, that's where they would say, here he is sleeping in his chair. But anyway.
And we're stocked up with great ammunition. We have much better stuff than we did 2 months ago when we first did the attack, which knocked them for a loop. But very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They can't have it. And if they did have it, the Middle East would be gone, Israel would be gone, and they'd hit Europe probably next. We're doing the service to the world. And this has gone on for 47 years. Other presidents and leaders of other countries that have the power should have done it, but they didn't do it. But it's a very simple plan. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, and they didn't want to go that far. If you can believe it, they didn't. How stupid. Are they stupid people? They didn't want to believe it. They think that, well, I'll get tired of this, or I'll get bored, or I'll have some pressure. But there's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. We're going to have a complete victory. We've already, in theory, had a complete victory from the military standpoint. The military, look, their Navy is dead. They have 150. They had 159 ships. Right now they have 0, other than the little speedboats that go around that got taken out 8 a day by us. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft. Now, they probably put the shoulder jobs into service over the last 3 weeks, probably. But essentially, they have no anti-aircraft. They have no radar. And frankly, their leaders have been killed at the first level, second level, and half at the third level. And then they come back and they want to negotiate, and they give us it's a stupid proposal. And nobody would take it, although Obama would have taken it, Biden would have taken it. What they took was far worse. So we stopped him twice. We stopped him when I terminated the worst deal probably ever.
Well, he mentions the shoulder jobs. Shoulder jobs. He's talking about the man pads. And word on the street is that China supposedly sent another generation of these weapons that are more compact, have a onboard guidance system, possibly heat-seeking, that they're a little trickier. They're a little trickier to identify and defeat. So that's going to be a topic on tables as well as cutting the cables, undersea cables. But, drone warfare is, I still have more Trump clips. But drone warfare, we're going to see a lot of different iterations of it, a lot of different defense systems. Here is a Russian vehicle that is covered in drone netting. And it shows where a drone got hung up in the netting and did not blow up the equipment. There you see what one of these drones, they're just little flying bombs. Little flying bombs. And, when you see troops running away or stand there trying to hit them with machine gun fire, and the camera goes right in on their chest, that's what's coming at them right there. Something that's got about 4 times as much blast as a hand grenade. So there it is hung up. And this is one of the newest anti-drone drones. That it's a cat and mouse game. It's a chess game. Somebody comes up with a new type. They come up with another new type to defeat it. But these are portable, light, easy to deploy, and here it is in action.
Записываю. На! Готово! Четко!
I'm not sure if that blew up off screen or not, but it got it. It got it. Now, that's going after a prop-driven drone, not some guided rocket or missive. But looked pretty effective to me. It looked like it was very quickly and easily deployed. Oh, they're like little lawnmowers. I mean, what was it, 5 seconds before they, from launch to interdiction? Yeah, I did notice that too about the tie and the purple outfits. Trump is wearing his royal purple. Here's another clip from his press briefing.
I'm going to reduce until let me tell you, as soon as this is over with Iran, as soon as it's over, you're going to see gasoline and oil drop like a rock. Going to be dropping down like a rock. I mean, already, look, just on the basis of, things have happened. When it first came about, 20% of the oil came out of Hormuz. That's a lot. But, with time, it's like they go into Texas, they go into Louisiana, they go into Alaska, a lot of Alaska. Alaska's, sort of, it seems like very far away from Asia, but it's actually a relatively short trip by comparison to other locations they have to go to get oil. And they go into Alaska. In fact, our big problem is we're building bigger docking to fill up.
Well, he's talking about gas prices, but also he said the federal gas tax, he's going to cut that. And I'm sure there's different taxes, like for diesel fuel, for truckers, for farm use, and then you have gasoline, for recreational, for like boats. I think you're exempt from a gas tax. But does anybody know how much just the federal gas tax is on average? Anyway, be interesting to know that. If anybody wants to check that out. I had this this post last night, but I didn't get around to it. I'm getting around to it now. Margaret Brennan posted, after hearing the Pentagon classified brief on Iran war impact on U.S. weapons stockpiles, Senator Mark Leakey Kelly, don't obey unlawful orders. Kelly says it is shocking how deep we have gone into these magazines, trying to talk in military lingo. He said the Tomahawks, ATACMS, SM-3, and THAAD rounds, Patriot rounds. So those interceptor rounds rounds to defend ourselves have been hit hard. Tomahawks? Some of those things have been laying around for 20 flipping years. But anyway, he's telling the world that we're running low. Like I said, we can't even keep it secret when the coffee machine breaks on a ship. And this idiot's out here running around giving this kind of information out. He says it'll take years to replenish those stockpiles. I'm going to get figures on how many B-1 bombers we made, or B-51, B-52, all kinds of bombers, all kinds of planes, Mustangs, P-51 Mustangs. What we sent to Russia, we made tens of thousands of planes, trucks, tanks. And he's worried about this, much of it, old technology. It'll take us maybe a few months to gear up manufacturing facilities, but we destroyed our own manufacturing, which could affect a hypothetical U.S. conflict with China. Face the nation. And Hegseth had something to say about this. And we got these liberal justices that are standing in the way of the U.S. military disciplining one of their own. And it emboldens them. They need to keep the hell out of it. And I believe they'll be told that. I'm not sure if this is the... I have a clip. Let's see, of Kelly actually puking out that stuff on national television, which shouldn't even be national television. Let me see what this clip is. Here's a video of Mark Kelly divulging classified information. They're playing it. 60 Minutes? You got to be kidding me. I'll go ahead and play it. What should be a leaker's fate? I know what I think it should be.
Now to Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly, who we spoke with earlier, and began by asking whether the Pentagon has provided an answer on how depleted U.S. munitions are because of the war with Iran.
Yes, Margaret, we have. We've been tracking it. A number of times we've been briefed by the Pentagon on specific munitions. Actually, it's been pretty detailed on Tomahawks, ATACMS, SM-3s, THAAD rounds, Patriot rounds, so those interceptor rounds to defend ourselves. And the numbers are, I think it's fair to say it's shocking, how deep we have gone into these magazines, because this president got our country into this without a strategic goal, without a plan, without a timeline. And because of that, we've expended a lot of munitions. And that means the American people are less safe, whether it's a conflict in the Western Pacific with China or somewhere else in the world. The munitions are depleted. You may have seen me ask the Secretary of Defense this question about how long it's going to take to replenish. We're talking about years.
Well, you know, Admiral Paparo, the head of U.S. Pacific Command, was recently asked in front of Congress about American readiness and whether the diversion to the Middle East was hurting it. He said he did not see any real cost on our ability to deter China. From what you have heard, when you say it's shocking, do you think that the U.S. would be able to defend, for example, Taiwan if China tries to move against it? Or are you saying we are not in a position to do that right now?
Well, it all depends on the length of a conflict. You know, conflict that lasts a matter of days or just weeks. I think we're well positioned to do that. If a conflict goes on for months or years, when it takes years to replenish some of these munitions, of course we're going to be in a worse posture than we otherwise would be in if this war in Iran didn't happen. And by the way, Margaret, what are the American people getting out of this? I mean, this president said he wasn't going to start any new wars. He was going to bring down costs. He's done exactly the opposite. War against Iran, costs on everything are up.
What a sorry scumbag. What's America getting out of this? Are you out of your damn mind? Look at him. He's a lunatic. We have a mad dog regime that wants to wipe out all non-believers. And, what are we getting out of this? You idiot. You idiot. Here's from Trump. Let's see. The South Carolina State Senate has a big vote tomorrow on redistricting. Anybody in the chats from South Carolina? I'm watching closely along with all Republicans across the country who are counting on their elected leaders to use every legal and constitutional authority they have to stop the radical left Democrats from destroying our country. Put it in the comments, too, if you're watching after the live, if you're from South Carolina, including leveling the playing field against our decades of egregious gerrymandering and census rigging. That's got to be brought up more, too. South Carolina Republicans, be bold and courageous, just like the Republicans of the great state of Tennessee were last week. Move the U.S. House primaries to August. Leave the rest on the same schedule. Everything will be fine. Get her done. Get it done. President Donald J. Trump. That's right. We got nothing more important to do right now. Right now. Now is the time and the hour. I was going to put that on one of my posts, one of my titles. I'll do it through the week sometime. As I said in my State of the Union address on February 25th, the American dream of homeownership is under attack. For example, Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two, from Houston, placed bids on 20 homes and lost all those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. Can you say black and then rock? She was devastated. Stories like this are why I signed an executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up single-family homes. Also, in my speech, I called for Congress to save the American dream of homeownership and ban these purchases permanently. Senators Bernie Moreno and Tim Scott have worked to ensure my call becomes reality and have a bill which has passed the Senate with nearly 90 votes. I'm asking Congress to pass that bill, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which would ensure that homes are for people, not corporations. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Let's see, here's a clip. It doesn't say Fox Alert, breaking news, breaking news. Let me see what... Trump brings top CEO. I saw somebody mention in the chats that Elon was going to China with Trump and some others. So let's see here. This is about, I think this clip is about Venezuela becoming the 51st state. That chyron at the bottom is misleading. Get rid of the commies, then we'll talk about it.
This morning, it was just before the Oval Office event, he kind of surprised me a little bit because he said, John, I just want to tell you, I'm very serious about this. So you can talk about this. I'm serious about beginning a process to make Venezuela the 51st state. Now, there's a rich history in this nation of taking territories and absorbing them into the United States. You know, Puerto Rico is one that people talk about. But this would be the first time, to my knowledge, that a sovereign country was ever invited to join the United States of America. How would that work?
Well, John, I won't get ahead of what the president was comfortable sharing with you as far as those plans go. But look, this is a president who is famous for never accepting the status quo. He is always considering a host of options to improve our country. And of course, Venezuela, now led by President Delcy Rodriguez, is working incredibly cooperatively with the United States. So I won't get ahead of any plans that the president may have to that effect. But look, this has been a tremendous success. The United States revitalizing our relationship with Venezuela and in turn.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that with Venezuela. Too many commies over there. What are we going to do with them? I mean, those people need to be in jail. They have a criminal philosophy. But yeah, Roland, he got a head of hair. I was looking at that. I said, man, he's due for a haircut. Man, he, like me, he needs a weed eater to get that knocked down a little bit. But anyway... Here we go. Just as we've been discussing for weeks, Trump to pause beef tariffs amid soaring meat prices. He's also going to give favorable SBA loans, Small Business Administration loans, to smaller ranchers and cattlemen, okay, to combat this situation with the beef prices. And I'm sure it's going to be on the table. Beef is going to be on the table when he goes over there to meet with Xi Jinping, as well as the fate of these Iranian mullahs. Is it time to just, you can't work with them, you just got to do something? Did you know that 273 Americans have been shot since the war in Iran began? That's the way the news reports it. What's the rest of the story? In Chicago. Yeah, I'm reading some of the chats about the taxes and about the tags. How much, I mean, they take something that nowadays is a necessity for so many people and they just use it to squeeze every dirty dime they can out of you. And they all piss it away, all of them. Every state has got a certain level of corruption. Every state. Let's see. Is this a joke? Is this some kind of cruel joke? Babylon Bee, yeah, it's a joke. New York offers to house hantavirus patients in nursing homes. It's a reminder. A reminder from Babylon Bee, using humor, about Mario Cuomo. Et al. Means and others. They've graciously offered to allow American hantavirus patients to stay in any of their local nursing homes. You know, sometimes humor can be biting, especially if you're someone who lost a loved one during that time. But it's a good way for humor to be a reminder. Democrat Socialists of America just endorsed billionaire Tom Steyer for governor of California. They're insane. These Marxists, TDS freaks, all banded together, are insane. They're gonna support somebody from a group that they claim to want to destroy.
Finally, and try to follow this, self-described socialists are backing a billionaire for governor. Quote, much of his wealth, talking of Tom Steyer, was also invested in private prisons and coal mining accumulated by the same things he now decries. However, the most progressive of the current available candidates for governor is Tom Steyer. Time will tell whether he's truly a class traitor. Joining me now is host of the Keeping It Real podcast, Jillian Michaels. Let's start with governor. So the Democrat Socialists of America have endorsed a billionaire for governor. How?
I have no idea how. It's absolutely staggering. This is a guy that says he wants to prosecute ICE. This is a guy that funds chaos in our streets. I have faith that Californians have had enough.
It's not ICE, it's nice. Nice. Yeah, Californians have had enough. You know, another thing Trump was posting today was several judicial nominations. It's my great honor to nominate Michael Martin to serve as judge in the District Court of the Eastern District of Michigan. And he put a couple up from Texas, I believe. And then he says Antonio Pozos as judge for U.S. District Court in Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Did they do away with that blue slip business? Or are blue slips still required from these Democrat states? I don't know. But he's making these nominations. Thank God. Getting some of these judges replaced. Oh, I'm going to play this at the end. Even though I'll probably get in trouble for it, I'll play it at the end. Because, you know, I got the way they handled my last copyright issue, they're responding. You know, they're cooling it to some degree. Where is it? I got in trouble. Well, not in trouble, but I got tagged over the Stephen Colbert. Here it is. This little clip I showed of Stephen Colbert with James Comey. Copyright claim on my video, but it doesn't affect my channel. It's not a strike. That little spot I played, how long did it go? 30 seconds, 29? I don't remember. And I'm like, should I take it out? Should I edit it out or should I leave it? I mean, am I going to have some creepos trying to sue me? I can't comment on somebody who's been criminally charged on a station where the host's been fired. I don't know. But they didn't, as far as I know, didn't restrict me or anything like that. So, but I got to be careful of stuff like that. Still, got to be careful. Hey, we're talking about the hantavirus and all this stuff. Remember this guy? I think he's the most famous HIV person, the most famous AIDS person. Magic Johnson. Guess who he's supporting? Karen Masura, the commie, when she was in her 20s, was going over to Cuba and helping the Fidel Castro regime.
The reason I'm supporting Mayor Bass, first of all, I go back with her probably 30 years. She sustained the first ever consecutive decrease in homelessness. Homicide rate is down. New housing units, 40,000. I mean, she's doing a tremendous job. Mayor Bass has to have a second term, and I'm excited to say that.
All right.
Oh.
Thank you so much. I so
The mayor,
appreciate that.
well, you know, listen, you took on a tough job here.
Yeah.
Well, they got music in the background. I'm gonna cut it short because they got some kind of music. How long did I let that go? 30 seconds? I'll probably get in some kind of trouble for it. But anyway, yeah, he's a turd in the punch bowl as far as I'm concerned. This little turd in the punch bowl is going out the door right here. Who's this? Oh, he's just a kid. Can't we keep him? Can't we keep him in the country? Top Major League Baseball prospect self-deports after pleading guilty to human smuggling charges. San Diego Padres right-handed pitcher prospect Humberto Cruz, 19, has self-deported to his native Mexico following a guilty plea to a federal misdemeanor charge related to the transportation of illegal aliens. Well, they play baseball in Mexico too. Good riddance. I'm just glad you didn't reproduce. Did you vote? He shagged out of here pretty daggone quick, I'll tell you that. 80,000 illegal aliens gave up immigration cases and left in 2026. Good riddance. 7 times as many people are abandoning their immigration cases and leaving when compared to the last 15 months of the puppet Biden administration, a puppet to Marxist subversives that invaded our country and took over the government functions. Here we go. Long time, I don't know what the story is on this. Anybody know? Longtime GOP rep passes away at 78. Well, that's not suspicious. 78 is a pretty, not the longest life, but it's up there. Bill Posey spent more than a decade in Congress, died Sunday. He died at a regional medical center in Melbourne. I don't know if he had, some form of cancer or what happened. It's the first I heard of it. But we've had a lot of people dipping out for one reason or another. And I tell you, corking off, that's the ultimate resignation there. But anyway, here's another clip from Donald Trump. Let's see what he's talking about.
I think more than I will. But I think that a discussion will be a little bit about energy and about the very beautiful country of Iran.
Mr. President,
And by the way, Iran is a beautiful country, but it's got people running it now that shouldn't be there, perhaps.
Mr. President, just a couple questions. Outside.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. Got people who maybe shouldn't be running it. He's going to be talking to Xi about energy and Iran. And one of these clips, he talks about how they're finding a lot of people around the country or around the world are finding other sources. 20% is a big amount that coming out of Iran for the entire world. But they're not the only game in town, okay? And they're going to be finding that out. And the longer this drags on, the more people are. Necessity is the mother of invention. More people are going to be finding other routes. But anyway, here we go.
It caused a lot of bedlam. I don't know. It's like saying to me, if Comey ever went to jail, would you let him out? It might be a hard one for me. Does that make sense? It might be a hard one to me, because he's a dirty cop. But Jimmy Lai isn't that way. But Jimmy Lai, he caused.
I put that one up because it was an odd clip. Did you all catch that? If Comey went to jail, would you let him out? That would be a hard call. Because Jimmy, instead of James Comey or Crooked Cop or Crooked Comey, he called him Jimmy. I don't know. But how many people could Comey destroy if he started singing? How many big names, without a doubt, could crash and burn if Comey rolled? Just saying. But anyway, here's another clip from Trump. Here we go. Come on now, spread out. There we go. All right, let's see what he's talking about on this one. Jimmy, I'll tell you, good old Jimmy.
So we were paying the World Health Organization $500 million a year. Look, it's a lot of money, but in the overall scope, it's not that much, but it's a lot of money. And we weren't being treated well, and they were making the wrong diagnoses. I was the one that said it came from Wuhan. They didn't say that. They refused to say that because they were totally owned by China. So I was saying it came from Wuhan. They didn't want to say that. Now it's turned out, I think it's been conclusive that it came from Wuhan. But I said that on the first day because I saw satellite pictures with body bags all over Wuhan, literally all over Wuhan. So I said that they lied to me or they didn't know. So we were paying for, let's say, 350 million people. We were paying $500 million a year to the World Health Organization. That's a lot of money. What the hell are they going to do with that kind of money? And China was paying $39 million a year for 1.4 billion people. So I said, you got your story wrong because we should be paying about $10 million, not $500 million. And they were willing to negotiate, but it was so popular when I pulled out. They gave us all wrong information. On COVID, they were totally wrong. And I looked today and I saw the same doctor that was there. He's a good politician. I don't know how the hell he kept his job, but he was there telling us about this. Now, the one thing with this one.
Yeah, he said a couple of things there. He talked about body bags all around Wuhan. And the other thing he mentioned was how much we give the WHO. And he's saying they were wrong. For public consumption right now, that's a good message. We gave them all that money for nothing, for worse than nothing, bad information. I think down the road it's going to come out. Well, Trump already knows that they willfully misled us. But anyway, here we go with another clip.
We're going to reduce drug prices by 80%, and we won't get one Democrat vote. I don't know how they get away with it. That's why we call them the Democrats. We have a new name. They're Democrats because they're
Democrats. Because they're dumb. That's why we call them Democrats. And why are they voting against cutting our expenses on medicines? Why are they holding things up? because they are all owned by the pharmaceutical companies. That's what Trump let us know already. I don't think Oz is scared, Miss Mindersu. I don't think he's scared. He's wearing a red power tie. I think I got a story on him. I'll put it up in a minute. But let's see what this clip is.
Can you tell us anything about that proposal and what, if any, effort will be made to break this down?
Yeah, it was just unacceptable. You know, a lot of people said, well, does he have a plan? Yeah, of course they do have the best plan ever. Iran has been defeated militarily, totally. They have a little left. They probably built up during this period of time. We'll knock that out in about a day. But I have a plan. You know, it is a very simple plan. I don't know why you don't say it like it is. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They're very dangerous. They're very volatile. It's a terrible thing that's happened over there.
Yeah, he's got a plan. And it is that they're never going to have nuclear weapons. That's number one part of the plan. Let me see if I got that thing on Dr. Oz. Let me tell you, remind you, Dr. Oz went boots on the ground. He went boots on the ground with this fraud in Minnesota. Oh, I'll put my QR code up while I'm looking for that Comey article for Buy Me a Coffee. Let me see. Let me see if I still have it. Trump has assigned him. And apparently he has inherent police power, given his position, to investigate fraud. Oh, I had that. It's like a week ago. They made an announcement that Dr. Oz was going to be involved in tracking down fraud in state governments for prosecution. And I see him as wearing a red power tie. I don't think he's nervous about anything. I'll have to find that. I mean, I got hundreds of stories, some that relate to what we talk about, but there's so many different things going on. Like this one I've had for a long time. Right here. Washington Post reveals 2 states would turn red if the SAVE Act was enacted. They reveal that. Republicans making a calculated move to tighten election rules. It would reshape the playing field in western states like Nevada and New Mexico. On top of everything else that we're seeing. The only thing that's going to hold us back is rhinos. But yeah, Oz has got an expanded role. I can't find it right off the top of my head here, but I'll get to it. I'll put it up one of my next broadcasts. So he's involved not only in he's in an executive position now. He's not a physician. And he's probably seeing some big names that are going to be in big trouble. So I have a clip I've had for a bit too. This one here. If there's anybody that watches this program that is liberal, Brad Todd explains the redistricting game the Democrats play. Here we go. Redistricting wars. And they say, oh, they're trying to make it look, oh, we were ahead in the polls, so the Republicans cheated. No, not hardly.
Let's rewind the tape. In 2018, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court was just partisan and elected at the ballot box, and a majority Democrat redrew Pennsylvania's map to help Democrats take over Congress in 2018. Democrats were not outraged by that. Mark Warner, who just decried this Virginia decision, the decision was written by Justice Arthur Kelsey. You know who put him on the appellate bench? Governor Mark Warner. This is selective outrage from Democrats. North Carolina has redrawn their lines about 6 times in the last 6 elections. Why? Because the Democrats always go to court and always try to get new lines that are favorable to them. Sue till blue. That's the mantra that they use.
Sue till blue?
Sue till blue. Democrats will sue on any map until it's blue. They do their mid-decade redistricting in the courts, and we have seen it for 30 years. And that is what's happening here. They've gone to Utah this cycle and sued to get the map drawn for themselves. Like, partisan redistricting is a fact of life. And now
this isn't partisan.
On the campaigns,
What is it?
Sure it is.
Redistricting 6 times in 6 years. That's all they do is connive and scheme and make lists of who they can support and who's supporting Democrats. Oh, we can change the line here and bring that group in. Constant conniving. Connivers. What's this one about? Let me see. Let me see what this video is about here. I don't even remember. Let me see. Oh. Huh. A report from Ruski Land. We got to listen up. She's speaking in English with an accent.
Well, first, before we discuss with Russia, we should discuss amongst ourselves what we want to talk to them about. And that's why we have a Gimnich meeting coming with the foreign ministers, where we will discuss the proposals that I've put on the table to address the issues that we have. Because, again, the issue of the European security is that Russia is constantly attacking its neighbors, and how we can actually prevent that. And for that, we need concessions also from the Russian side.
Yeah, the headline to this little clip was, EU says it's time to start talking to Russia. And they're acting like, well, we got to talk to them about security concerns and all this. Really, they want the oil, and they want to get some handshakes to get sanctions lifted so they can start getting oil as a backup to what's happening if it ever happens again in Iran. So anyway, that was just an interesting little point where she's saying, we'll have to sit and talk with them and get some concessions. But anyway, folks, Miss Mindersu's putting a bunch of booms in because I put a link in. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. For Buy Me a Coffee in the chats at the 146 mark. Kapow! If anybody wants to help the channel out. Totally viewer support. And I got a rare notice. I usually don't get them. Thank you, Robin. It showed up on my screen. Kapow! Kapow! She went by and helped support this evening's broadcast. I do appreciate it, Robin. Thank you so much. And so anyway, folks, I still got stuff to go over, but man, time flies. And what I want to do is play this video. And if I get in trouble, I guess I'm going to get in trouble. I don't know. But I don't think it's got any copyright stuff, but this is one of Pratt's videos that I thought was really creative. And now, if it's used right, AI, it can be really fun. And most of the time they make stuff look stupid. But this is well done. One of Spencer Pratt's campaign videos is what I'm going to close out on. Anyway, folks, I think you'll enjoy this. And what do I always say? I always say, thank you for spending your precious time with me. And I should be going live day after tomorrow, but if something big happens, I will go live tomorrow. It all depends. So if you're subscribed to the notification bell, you'll know when I go live. So anyway, folks, I hope you all have a great evening. Enjoy this clip. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
You didn't finish burning the city to the ground in your first term. Make sure you finish the job in your second.
The only thing that can stop us is someone telling the truth. As long as they don't have any hope,
the city's ours.
Nobody's ever done this before. No one's ever spoken truth to power in LA.
If one man's brave enough to think things can change, everyone will realize things can change. You need to stop him.
Our children deserve to be safe.
You had 20 years to fix things.
Enough is enough.